Hey everybody, welcome back to Money and Music. I am Doc. Today we're going to be listening to some heavy hitters in the finance and music industry.
If you can buy a soda, you can invest.
We own hip hop, but we don't own rap music.
What's the cliche statement? If you hang around 5 rich people, you'll be the 6th.
I listen to his music because he's talking about, hey, how much farther he wants to go.
And I tell people in my business, I turn dreamers into doers.
Welcome back, everybody, to Money and Music. My name is Doc Fuller. I'm your host, and today we have some family in the house. We have the founder, the owner of one of the most successful comedy channels on YouTube, over 500, close to 600,000 subscribers. We're talking about a visionary. Today we have Jon Williams. Jon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. So tell us a little bit more about Comedy Hype.
Okay, so Comedy Hype is pretty much, we consider ourselves as a digital comedy network where we are able to curate our own original content. We do a lot of interviews with comedians that are well known, from your Kevin Hart's, your Mike Epps's of the world.
Okay.
And we pretty much like dive into their stories. And we pretty much found a lane open that no one was telling the backstory of comedy, and particularly our comedians. And so that kind of like initiated more interviews. We do reports where we have one-off stories, and we also have a news show dedicated to like kind of like your first take of on ESPN for comedy. So it's like this gumbo of comedy content, but also mixed with a lot of culture.
So how did you get into Comedy Hype and this whole platform?
Like any young person, I was just trying to be an entrepreneur and thinking about what's a way that I can like pretty much monetize myself or look at ways to generate a stream of revenue for myself. And I ventured into like the digital space.
Right.
My backstory goes where I was I'll say a child of World Star.
Okay.
So everyone knows World Star and how controversial it was, but I got to learn the story of it. Q, the founder of World Star, and I thought it was so impactful that he was a young man that started out of his like apartment with his mother and like family, and was able to kind of like navigate himself to be able to be extremely successful. And that kind of made me venture into the digital space. And I thought about what I liked in terms of like comedy, and noticed that our comedy wasn't being served to us in terms of like Black people.
Right.
And then from there, I decided to say, hey, if I can't start a channel, a TV channel, I can definitely start a blog when blogs were popular. And from there, just kind of navigate into Comedy Hype. And there's a whole big story that I'm sure we can get into, but that's the overview of it.
So you're posting stuff on Comedy Hype. It's being viewed millions of times.
For sure.
Like globally.
For sure.
Like what is that like at this point? You're 33, right?
Yeah.
You've done so much even at this age. What is that? Have you fully embraced like what you've done, or like the impact you're having?
I think, man, my mind is just focused on like the goal. So I think sometimes my team, they always encourage me to kind of enjoy the moment. Don't get caught up, don't overlook the moment. But I'm so like kind of military minded,
Right.
That's cool, the millions and stuff, but I'm thinking about like what's the next level. And that's kind of like the battle that I might have to at times like deal with, of like being satisfied. But I don't think as a true entrepreneur, you're always satisfied, which is why you got people going to the moon right now. Because it's like, what is that about?
Right.
Now, I'm not gonna go to the moon, but it's like this constant wanting to level up and get better.
Speaking of level up, we ATL artist Sierra, she had that track Level Up, Level Up.
Oh, for
Level Up.
I don't ride around the Sierra.
No, you don't ride around. But like I think that song was impactful. And to the same thing, it's like leveling up. You could be somewhere now, but where can you get to?
So one of the biggest things is like you have to sometimes ask yourself like what are you in this for? And I think for the young people watching this, the quicker they answer that question, the much like quicker they can get to that destination. And I think like there was a point in time where I could have been an independent YouTuber, which was I was doing a lot of the content myself. I was doing everything myself. I was writing, I was shooting it, I was editing it, and then I started generating my own revenue. Now I could have asked myself, okay, I could travel the world, I could have went anywhere and done this.
Right.
But I had to ask myself, like, what are you trying to do? I wanted to become a company. I wanted to employ people. I wanted to push other talent. And so I had to make that sacrifice and begin to start taking those investments instead of putting it into myself to put into other people. So that was like those things you have to really kind of question yourself, especially as an entrepreneur. Like, what are you in this for?
Right.
You know, are you in it just for like your own like clout that you're chasing, your own like credibility. Instagram is super huge, and I'm kind of anti like being visible. I'm more so like doing the stuff behind the scenes. So like, what are you doing this for? And I think you have to be very clear on that intention.
Now I know you're pretty private, right? But, there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that don't even know that you're that guy,
For sure.
right? So why is it important for you to
Mm.
do a show like this to even show them what success looks like?
Right. And to kind of like give a backstory, the reason why I like typically didn't do interviews like this is because it's like that wasn't what we signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
We signed up to get work done. We signed up to like do the unsexy shit is what I call it.
Yeah.
Which is, can I cuss on here?
Yeah, you good?
Okay. Sorry, children. But I think it was just like, yo, we signed up to like really build corporations and businesses. And I look at all these other businesses. I can't tell you who the owner of Coca-Cola looks like,
Right.
who the owner of Nike looks like. I
Mhm.
don't know what they look like. And I think they get it sometimes right by being about the business.
Mhm.
And I think that's where our controversy kicks in, where we post on Instagram the work that we're doing versus the actual work. And I'm just so anti that because I fell for different people that look like they was working their ass off, and I try to do business with them, and it's like the business is funny style, it's not together. So for me, it's always been like, let me focus on the business. And I think that honestly has kept our company afloat and constantly growing. And so now I decided to kind of come forward a little bit more because there's gonna be some youth that was in my same predicament, single mother household, didn't have anyone to really give them any type of true opportunity. So I thought that just to let them know that they can do it as well.
That's dope. And I think of even Puffy, right? He was
Yeah.
doing a little bit of everything, right?
For
But I
sure.
think you can kind of segment your energy when you're trying to do too many different things, right? And
Facts.
so he was trying to do the rap thing, and he's doing concerts. And now if you look at him, it's more like, let me step back behind the scene and be the puppet master. And like,
Yes.
you have so much power and time, and
It's because it's like it's unfortunate, but I think when it comes to our folks, we do get caught up in like the visibility of it because it's not fun looking at paperwork. It's not fun talking to attorneys, but it's necessary.
Mhm.
And that's just so I'm big on like what's necessary. If we really signed up, like my thing is there's a rapper right now his name is G Perico,
Okay.
and he's got an album called Play to Win.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, so with him, it's like that's my mentality. We signed up to play, did we not sign up to win?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do everything to get us the wins. And that's just kind of how I think about this whole process. So I'm gonna do the unfun stuff. I'm gonna stay up hella late, and I'm gonna do all the necessary things so that we can win and
Right.
not just look like we winning.
And so what is that like, right? You talk about playing to win. You're doing all this stuff to win. You don't want second place. If you're not first, you're last, right?
That's the point.
That's the point. And a lot of people in
Right.
their individual professions, I think that's their mindset, and that's what helps them to elevate. Even if we look at like a Steve Jobs with iPhone, he
sure.
always wanted to like
Come on.
next level. Let's elevate, right?
Come on.
So who was some inspiration for you that kind of got you in that mindset? Talking about elevation, leveling
Elevation, as far as like a music artist,
up. Well, anybody.
man, it's a collection of people that I think impacted me. I know that Pharrell early on was a big impact because I was seeing so much of what he was able to do, and he didn't look like the stereotypical young black youth
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't. I wasn't walking that similar path. I didn't really like dive into sports heavy. I played sports, but I wasn't like I was multifaceted. So to
Right.
see that person made me think that I can also do different things. I don't have to do the stereotypical like routes that I think they try to sometimes groom us to do.
Right. And so, and some of those routes is like we know that a lot of times if you grow up in inner city, you're
For
thinking
sure.
basketball, sports,
sure.
you're thinking of music or, being
Right.
in the streets.
Right.
Like, and I think the cool thing about you,
Right.
having accomplished so much, right,
Right.
at a young age, like, what do you think your true potential is? Like, what is the 20-year version of you gonna look like
I mean,
20 years from now?
20 years from now is a lot of time from now, a lot of stories.
Yeah.
What does that look like in terms of business? I should be, multi-millionaire business, creating other opportunities,
Mhm.
employing people. That's a long time from now.
Yeah,
yo.
exactly.
'Cause
Exactly.
even like if you said 2 years is a long time because this thing moves quickly
Mhm.
when you're really like on it. So 20 years, I can only imagine what that would look like.
And the dope fact about that is that you know, you have so much potential
Mm.
that you can't even quantify what an endpoint looks like. It's just
20
like
looks crazy.
it's endless, right?
Cause this like when this thing started really taking off the way it did, it didn't take long for it to start moving. So
Mhm.
I can 20 years. I haven't even been in this game for 20 years.
Right,
You
right.
throwing 20 on me, it's like I don't even know what my life would look like.
And so, like with your channel, how long has it been in existence?
So the channel's been around. Giving you backstory, in 2009, the company was called the Laughing Barrel. So that was how we first started. Was the
Okay.
name. So with the Laughing Barrel, it was pretty much inspired by there was barrels in the slave fields because Massa, they wanted to like keep the laughter out of Massa's earshot. So
Mhm.
they would laugh in these barrels. So that kind of played into this place of like, let me go ahead and launch a company called the Laughing Barrel to amplify like this is our like special place to laugh as far as Black folks.
Right.
So that kind of came in and went. And then honestly, I had to have a real conversation with myself when I noticed the brand wasn't connecting the message that I wanted to deliver,
Okay.
which was that we were a comedy company.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a tech event and a young Asian dude, you know, I'm going to give him a pass and kind of think that he meant it very innocently, but he
Mm.
was like, "Oh, y'all sell guns?" And it was because like I had barrel in the name, and I guess because I'm Black and I'm in this like non-Black space.
Right. Right.
And that let me know like, okay, we're not connecting what I need to connect. And you know people's attention span is short.
Very
And
short.
so you need to be able to grab them right away
For sure.
so that you can be able to deliver what your products or services that you're trying to give them. And that made me go ahead and rethink about the name comedy, and comedy hype kind of came out to fruition.
So I know you're doing things in the community. So how is
Mhm.
what does mentorship mean to you?
I think what's just so crazy, I didn't realize that, but mentorship kind of like make it adds purpose to this whole thing that I'm doing.
Hmm.
And I thought about that like when I was waiting to kind of like do this interview, was like that to me feels like the payout in a
Right.
weird way. Like that feels like great that I can now impact someone else's life. So impact means everything for me, but like to mentor and be able to see your impact help other people's lives, to me that's the payout.
So what kind of mentorship are you doing out there now?
Right now, I am mentoring with a host named, a super talented person named Symphony Thompson.
Mhm.
We partnered up to host and mentor these children called the Scholar Social. Scholar Social, they're like a group of young teens. To call them kids is an understatement, but they are youth. But they're like these young people who are very witty,
Mhm.
can talk, they can discuss anything. And that's some of the programs that we're doing now, where we're teaching them how to develop their own production and create their own shows and their
Mhm.
own podcasts. We allow them to use our studio out here in Atlanta, and just pretty much developing them to be able to independently run and operate their own production.
And shout out to Cynthia. I know she's doing like some major things and
For sure.
on camera and off camera.
Come on.
You know, so are you able to speak? I know you have a studio out here
Right.
in the Atlanta area.
Right.
Any new things that you have going on?
Yeah, we have a couple of new things where we were able to grow and to get a space in Los Angeles.
That's right.
And
All
that's
right.
pretty ill. Like I'm
For
proud
sure.
of that, because like again, like this story is about like you can really do this by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I might sound crazy, but I'm not seeking investments like some other companies
Right.
are seeking investments.
Right.
I love the groundwork. I love the fact that we can walk into a building and say that we did this our own, that no one held our hand, and that we figured it out. And there's a lot of pride with that. So to get our second studio, when I know that our story started off with a laptop and a camera out of my grandmother's house, it's like
A
like,
laptop and a camera.
that's it. No connections. I had no connections in comedy.
Right.
I'll let y'all know that I ain't know nobody. And I think that's why they feel some type of way, respectfully, the ones that watching. But like I came in there and just had a vision that I thought will, one, uplift our people. And that's pretty big for me as well. But like I thought that comedians, they needed a place and they were being underserved. So to see myself from an outside view of like this young man like stayed late, my boys would go to the club, I'll say, nah, I'm staying in, just working on
Put
coding.
that work in.
and just like tirelessly doing it, running up to comedians and begging them. I used to beg them, yo, can you do an interview?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like the roles have switched up a bit.
They're coming to you now.
They're coming to us.
Mm-hmm.
So to see that, it's like always very humbling.
Yeah.
The fact that we got a space in LA and I know the story.
That's
You know?
crazy. And I know you work with Pierre a lot.
Yeah.
I see a lot of
Yeah,
the stuff.
Pierre.
Yeah,
What up, P?
yeah. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great talent to work with. Super professional, very, very smart, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's been great, and I'm glad that we have crossed paths because I think that we've been able to feed off each other's energy, and I'm very happy that we're able to work together as well. And then we have also a streaming platform that's pretty darn big, a big deal for us to as far as the next step for Comedy Hype.
That is awesome. Well, I'm always gonna be tuned in, man. I
sure.
love what you're doing. So you talked a little bit about Pharrell.
Yeah.
Anything music wise that you listen to that provides you with inspiration?
It was a song called "You Can Do It Too," and he just kind of just harmonized it over. You can do it too, young blood. You can do it too, young blood. Just watch what you do, young blood, because you can. It just that embedded in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Of just like I thought he was so cool because again he didn't look like the stereotypical young black male that I think we're kind of groomed to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And to see him, he was talking that fly-ish too. He was talking about landing in a private jet, but
Uh-huh.
then he would be on his skateboard and he'll jump in a Rolls Royce, and he was talking about the girls.
Right,
like
right.
this dude got my life that I want, And so for him to be thoughtful enough.
Mm-hmm.
To say, yo, you seeing all this fly-ish I got going on, you can do that too,
You can do it.
was extremely impactful.
And how old were you when that came out?
It had to be like 17, 18. It was on the album In My Mind. And I might not have the exact dates in case y'all look this up.
Yeah, but like
I know
17,
people-
18 years old.
I remember
hearing
just
something.
like, man, like, and that's what pretty much my message is, like real heavy. It's why I don't try to run to the investors, because I don't want any youth or anybody watching this feel like you can't do it. Because sometimes we do that to ourselves.
Right.
Oh, if I had that connect too, I would have been able to
Everybody
do that.
looking for the plug.
If I would have, had some money on the side like he had. No.
Mm-hmm.
At least I said, yo, I had a camera and a laptop. You can get your hands on a camera and laptop,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go crazy with it, because the digital space right now is an open market.
Right.
And you don't need to conquer the world. I think sometimes we look at like followings and think we got to have 1 million followers to be successful. You don't. You can get you 50,000 followers, and if they spend $4 with you, that's $200,000 out the year. If they spend just $4 with you.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes like the mentality of like having to feel like we need a bajillion followers to be successful, you don't need that. You need to find your tribe, do some great work that's going to be able to cultivate the right people, and you're going to be able to provide for yourself and your family.
That's dope. And I read Steve Harvey says something. He said, everybody's trying to find people that'll give them $100 each, right? He said, don't do that. Find 1 million people to give you $1.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
It's just numbers.
It's
how you look at
it's
it.
numbers. And I think that focusing in on our craft and honing our skill sets. So like, we don't see you like all on the camera, right? Because
No.
you're like focused on the business end,
Yes.
right? So what advice, you have a 18-year-old version of you out there where you were when you heard Pharrell, what would you tell that 18-year-old? You can do it too. What's some other stuff that you would tell them to be successful?
Right. The biggest one that we have is our company motto, which is keep going.
Keep going.
It's just simple. Like Nike got just do it.
Mm-hmm.
We got keep going at Comedy Hype.
Yeah.
And to keep going is the mentality of, man, no one taught me this game,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kept going and I kept learning, and I'm still learning.
Self-taught.
It's just, but if you keep going,
Mm-hmm.
you take your L, you look at it, you sit back, you analyze it, and you make a different move.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you keep going, you're going to be able to build what you need for yourself. So if anyone is watching, like as far as the children or the youth or anyone that is watching this, just keep going. Just keep going. It's very simple.
Now, can you keep going if you're chasing money versus purpose? Like, what is the motivator that keeps you going?
The motivator is beyond me. This is a service that I'm doing at this point. I met every expectation for myself. as far as I could believe I could do anything. So what keeps me going is that the fact that I am being able to impact directly our people. I wear that with like a badge of honor because it's like I think our people are some of the most gifted people in the, not even the most. This might sound crazy, but I think we're the most gifted people in the world. And I think that when we really believe that and we really value ourselves that way, no one can ever stop us. And I have this model that I feel like we're designed to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Because being designed to lead means that we have all the equipment we need necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I was a young man with a laptop and a camera. And now I'm able to generate a company and a lifestyle for myself and my friends and my family to where it is something that like can rival somebody that had all that access. I eat at the same places as people that went to college. I didn't go to college.
Mm-hmm.
I eat at all those places, and it's like we're designed to lead. I feel that way. I feel that we're very gifted people. And so for the young Black youth that is watching this, like you're designed to lead. You have every capability to do it, which is why I play the way that I do, where I don't have to, I'm not trying to seek extra help. I'm trying to just show that you can cultivate this yourself.
This is what a boss looks like. And there's a clothing line that speaks to that same thing called a king of oneself, a coup, A-K-O-O.
Okay.
A coup, like a king of oneself. Like people don't think of themselves as kings, queens. They don't think of themselves as being a leader of their future. They think that somebody else has to get them to their destination. Right. They don't know that they can speak things into existence, you know? So I know you just keep going. What you saw inspired you, and you keep going, and you bringing other people right behind you. How big is your team?
Well, right now we probably have about 12 to probably 10 to 12 people that we work with consistently. 10
to 12 people. That's 10 to 12 families that are eating off of what you're doing.
Come on.
That dream that you had is feeding 10 to 12 people. And just imagine, like, we think about all the ripples, right? I like to think of myself as the rippler. I'm that guy that throws the pebble in the pond and have that ripple effect, right? Just imagine all of those 10 to 12 people that you're now providing for, that's able to provide for their families and their families. And now they're learning from them, you know? So
that's the payout.
That's the payout.
That's the payout. Like I said, you get to a certain point, like with money, I'm not a big, like, I'm probably gonna see a lot of money, respectfully, but I really don't trip about it because it's like, how much money do we really need is my main mentality. If I can make like $2 million a year, I'm cool. And I'm saying that like in my lifetime. Like if that's my max, it's $2 million a year, I'm good. I give me a nice little condo, have a nice car, maybe get like a family house. But like, I don't need that much capital.
Right.
So for me, it's like, that is about like, it's more about impact than like financial gain.
Yeah.
And I'm big on that. Like I'm really big on that. And I think, you know, that's the debate right now because we're always trying to chase money. And it's like, man, at a certain point, you're going to, like, how many times you got to go to this restaurant? Like, what does it matter?
Right,
at
right,
a
right.
certain point. And I think when you get it, you know, that's when it starts like depleting a little bit. Because when I got it, it was like, okay, this is cool, but
what's next? Like Drake
the
said,
gratifying thing
what's
is
next?
when you're able to now see your impact affect other people's lives.
Yeah, and like Chris Rock, he did a comedy sketch, and he was just talking about, you know, people say, "Oh, I take care of my kids." And he's like, "You don't get any credit for that. That's something that you're supposed to do." It's like, what are you doing for others that you wouldn't necessarily have to do?
And it's crazy because I would hear this in interviews, and it wouldn't stick on me the way that I get it now.
You get it now, and it hit different, don't it?
Yeah, because it's like, how much money you trying to make, yo? Like, these kids are getting like billions of dollars. Like, granted, like, I get it, but it's like, do we really need $6 billion?
Yeah.
Do you really need the $6 billion?
Exactly. Like,
what you gonna do with that $6 billion?
Yeah.
Can we not be about like principle and story? So for us, I'm about principle and story, which is why I'm doing my best to retain 100% ownership of our company, which I currently have. And I'm gonna try to keep it that way until the end of the story, and so that my family can be able to navigate and do what they need with it. We need those stories.
Ownership over consumership.
Yes.
Jon Williams, thank you for coming, bro. This is amazing. You gave some huge jewels. I'm looking forward to everything that Comedy Hype has in store, as well as all the mentorship that you guys are going to do.
This is beautiful. What your team is doing, what you guys are doing is hugely impactful. Your intentions are in the right place. And I think that this is the stuff that we need to see keep going.
That's what's up.
For sure.
All right, we're going to keep tuning in, man, and do the same.
For sure. Thank you.
You're very welcome.